So I suspect that Manny has a game plan in his head already, and that's to take him out.
I haven't been able to ask Freddie this, but is it important to dominate Juan Manuel this time?
I think it is. I mean, I think it's important to dominate it, go in there with the intentions of, executing your plan and dominating the fighter the way you want to dominate him. But I think Manny's going to show his strength and what a complete fighter he is now as opposed to back then.
Be honest, Alex, how hard is it to keep him at welterweight? I mean, it just seems like you have a hard time getting enough protein in him and enough weight on him to keep him at that weight, but yet he's so stellar at welterweight.
It is hard. It's very hard. He's just not. He doesn't carry that kind of frame. But Freddie and I believe that fighters should fight at a level or at a weight where they feel that they're their strongest. And you don't want to get a bigger guy and reduce him to nothing and to where he's weaker and more susceptible to getting injured. We like to build our fighters to make them bigger and stronger. So. Again, I think Bob made a very valid point. At the end of the day, Manny's going to weigh in at 147, 146.
Yeah.
Marquez is going to weigh in at 147, 146. So, it's up to Marquez what he wants to weigh in. Nobody says he has to weigh in at 44. He can come in at 38 if he wants. 40.
Yep. You've been with him since 2007. Have you seen any decline in Manny at all? Have you seen him maybe increase what he's done, or is it maybe just a different Manny?
No, for sure. I think once his body started agreeing with him more, and we didn't have the problem with the ailments, and we were able to troubleshoot a lot of the problems that he had during the Marquez and Barrera fight, he's been able to take his game to the next level. He trains harder, and he just feels better. His diet's a lot different now, and we're focusing more on recovery. As in before, he used to like to train 7 days a week.
Yeah, on a personal level, you kind of ushered in the athlete/boxer into our era. What does it feel like to see more and more a lot of these fighters become more athletic and more being able to use their physical capabilities? A large part of that is because of you.
Well, I think I'm glad. I appreciate that. I think it's going to be better for the sport overall. I think what we're seeing is a lot of these MMA guys are making good competitive fights because of their athletic ability and their conditioning. Time and time again, I've seen guys that don't have the amount of skill level and don't have the experience, but these guys that do have the conditioning and the better preparation are making these fights bigger and better fights because of that alone. So I mean, you take a good fighter and you add that athletic ability to him, you end up with a great fighter. I mean, look what happened to Manny.
Yeah, let's jump away from Manny a little bit. You worked with Amir Khan for the Judah fight again. Was it welcoming back? Did it feel like old times again, or was it a little bit different?
No, it was like I've always said. Amir and I were friends. We've been together, for 7 fights almost. So it was for Amir and I. We just go back to being ourselves, and I thought that was the most important thing. Let that other stuff to the lawyers. Let them do. But as far as Amir and I, we got back on track right away, and I think for me, I think it's always a good thing that a fighter goes and sees what somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
That way they can come back to you and they say,
you're that confident in your ability.
Now you're that. Yeah, they have more confidence in what you're doing. They're whatever guesses or whatever second thoughts they may have had, they don't have them anymore. Yeah. Now they're really giving you 110%.
Cool.
And we saw that in